Okay. Hello and welcome to AppFollow Academy onboarding session. I'm going to be your host. My name is Colleen. I am a customer success manager here at AppFollow. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes so people can kind of trickle in. But in the meantime, I thought it'd be fun to learn more about those joining the session and just have a fun poll. So I'm really curious what the weather is like where you're located. I'm based in Boston, so we really are feeling the winter coming right now. So I think it's about 30 degrees. So I think that'd be about like 12 or so degrees Celsius, depending where you're located and what system you use. But I would love to hear what the weather is like. We'll get started in 1 or 2 minutes. I'd be very jealous if anybody is in a warmer area. 7 degrees. Oof, that's cold. Okay, not jealous. Oh, that's not bad. 42. I've always wanted to go to Portland. I haven't gone yet, but I've heard the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. Cool. And as we begin this session is really designed for new users of AppFollow, as well as those who are established users and maybe could use a refresher course. This webinar will be more geared towards the administrative settings of AppFollow, but we will touch upon the navigation of AppFollow as well. But by the end of the session, you'll learn how to add apps to your workspace, set up workspace settings, add competitors, add users, understand where tools and features live within AppFollow, as well as all the help guides that live within AppFollow as well. This webinar is held monthly. So if you have team members you think would benefit from this, we can share the links to the upcoming webinars. This is part of a series of customer webinars that are designed to help you understand and use AppFollow to its full potential, as well as support your goals. Throughout the webinar, I'll share polls to get some feedback from the clients. And if you have any questions, you can add them in the chat, and we'll have about Q&A for the last 5 or so minutes of the session. Any questions we don't get to, we'll send up a follow-up email with everything you asked as well. And I like to make these sessions as interactive as possible. I think that's really fun to get your engagement and understand like where your questions are. So feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar as well. Buenos Aires. Ooh. Cool. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me as I pull everything up. Okay. All right, so what you're literally looking at is a blank canvas for AppFollow. This is what you would see if you're just joining us for the first time. As you can see, there's some help resources around here, but I want to walk you through new navigation. So starting on the left-hand side, in the bottom corner, you'll see account. This little bell is for updates. This, if you have any questions, you can talk to our sales, customer support, links to our help center and our blog. We have a ton of valuable content up here. All right, I'm going to start looking at our account. As you can see here, these are the account settings. I'm the only user for this account. Say I wanted to add a team member to this account. I click up here, it says My Team. And you'll fill out the following details: their email address, their full name, the role. These roles are specific to AppFollow. So depending on the settings or the access they have, depends on these settings. They can be read-only. They can be an admin where they can add people. And then their position, so the position that's relevant within the company. So whether if they're the customer support manager or ASO, really identifying what their use case might be. All right, right now we're going to go to add apps to our workspace. So I'm going to click at the top left corner. There's different ways you can add apps. There's a default workspace, which I can bring you to, and you also can add a new app from here. I'm going to go to all our workspaces. And let that load. Great. And now we're going to add a new app. For today's session, I'm going to use Netflix. Also, I want to point out all the stores that you can add apps from. So whether it's the App Store or Google Play, which usually is the primary case with our clients, we have Amazon, Discord, and Hawaii. So Netflix. And you can also, if you have an app that's specific to a country, you can filter from there as well. For this purpose, we're going to use the US. So I'm going to track Netflix, and I'm going to track Netflix in the App Store. And if you look right here to the right, all these apps are now added as my competitor. So any of my industry competitors would be added. If I say I don't want to try, look at, say, Upflix, I could delete it, remove it. So it's no longer part of our competitors. I'm going to pause for a poll because I am interested in really how long have you been with AppFollow? Just curious to see if anyone's brand new here or if there's established users, but okay. It's nice to see how you can add an app. What the next steps would be to link your integrations to the app. So this would be able to get all the data from the App Store regarding like your ratings, your reviews, and it also facilitates the ability to reply to reviews. You would need the developer details to complete this process. And there is a separate webinar recording I'll share with the guest today regarding integrations. Integrations, in summary, is how you pull data into your AppFollow and as well as out. So in being the App Store Connect or Google Play, out could be if you're using a help desk system like Zendesk or using Slack, but more on that. Okay, so let's go back to our workspace. I'm going to show you how there's different settings you can use for workspaces. So you could do a worldwide filter, default country being US, or the language, the default language. If you're sharing, say you have multiple workspaces, let me speak to that actually before I go into the sharing feature of number of replies. It's common for multiple teams to use AppFollow. So say the marketing team and your support team are both using AppFollow, you would create a separate workspace for each team. That way there, it's like your workflows, your integrations, any of your workflows are tailored towards that workspace. So it's less disruptive when you're working with multiple different groups in AppFollow as well. It's good at keeping things compact and definitely because there could be different goals, say, within the workspace as well. So say I'm a marketing exec and I need my own workspace and I want ASO reporting, or I'm only featured on looking for like keywords. It really helps to have your own separate workspace. And so when it comes to number of replies, say you have multiple teams responding to multiple apps in different workspaces, and every month you only have 1,000 replies, you can divide this amongst workspaces. So each workspace has their own monthly limit. Okay. I'm going to next show what the new navigation is and talk about the workflows for each. But before that, I'm really curious to hear what your goal is with AppFollow. Okay. So it could be monitoring your app success, ASO, a mix of both. Couple of weeks. Okay. Going back, we have the 3 workflows outlined in AppFollow. So it's monitor, which I'll bring you to. Bear with me as I switch screens from our live storm session to AppFollow. Sometimes it gets a little slow, but that's okay. We're going to click on monitor. And we're going to look at the ratings and reviews dashboard. So monitor workflow would be more like I want to see what my rating is over time. I want to just really track what the progress is made. Looking at the ratings review dashboard, a couple of things I want to point out is that we're looking at this app during this time period and worldwide. And to Noah's question earlier, you can switch between which country you want to track. And also what I'd like to point out as well is that throughout AppFollow, we have our linked resources along the way. So if you ever get stuck or you have a question or you're not sure what this data point means, clicking here will bring you directly to the article relevant to the feature you're on. This is really great if you're teaching yourself along the way, or you're working a little bit late at night and you have a question. You're able to really support yourself. And I love the way that AppFollow has designed this into our platform. Looking at the rating review dashboard, it'll show the progress made over time. And these little arrows at the bottom, this means that there was a version release. So often you'll see when these little carrots, a version release, either the rating has changed, the reviews has changed, more feedback from your customers. So it's really important to see as you release new versions of your app, what has changed? What's the feedback from your customers? From here, this is the average new rating for this time period, and this would be the average rating. So if I was to go to the App Store looking at Netflix, I would see the 2.73 rating. Great. Okay, so I'm going to now go to the Engage section. Engage would be how I'm interacting with the reviews and the feedback I get from customers and our clients. So replying to reviews, tagging reviews, and we're going to look at the reply to review section. Let that load. As you can see up here, in order for me to reply to any of these reviews, I would need the integration to be set up. But for this purpose, we don't need this, so let me show you. Again, looking at top here, we have the date range, device, country we can filter by. So say I want to look at United Kingdom. Other filters you can look at is review language, semantic category, semantic tag. For clients that are early out and they're just starting the reply strategy, an area that I always recommend is starting to look at the featured reviews. The featured reviews are when you go to download an app in the App Store or Google Play, and those are the highlighted reviews. It's not clear which review or why they get featured. From what we see, the longer review is considered more valuable or have better feedback, so that's more likely to get featured. I think it's important to really have a response and a strategy for those featured reviews, because it's important to see what not only what the client says, but what the company says as well. So right here on the smart view on the right-hand side, you can see there's featured reviews without a reply. That'd be a great and easy way to start a great reply strategy for your app. The last workflow we have is Accelerate. Accelerate would be really geared towards or tailored to those marketing and ASO managers. So the App Store optimization, tracking organic downloads, your ranking, feature timeline. Cool. Let's now stop for another checking time. one other poll. Oops. Based on what you saw today in today's webinar, adding apps, adding users, looking at competitors, and walking through navigation, I'm interested in hearing what other topics would you like to hear more about in these onboarding sessions? And if there's anything that's not listed, feel free to share in the chat. We do have a few exciting sessions coming up regarding automation tools and what can get accomplished when you leverage automation through AppFollow, as well as understanding your Google Play data. And recently we had a reply strategy, which was a great webinar about how you can really craft and develop your own reply strategy that's tailored towards your app and your business need and goals. And what are the elements of that reply strategy? Okay. So circling back today, covering the new navigation, workspace settings, help guides along the way, and account settings. Lastly, I want to point out account usage. So if there is ever a time where you're using a lot of replies or you need to add users, if you're ever curious, really, what are my limits on the AppFollow? Do I need to talk to sales? Do I need to switch my account? You can check here to see your usage. Some of these, such as replies, are monthly, API being daily, but the rest, such as apps, competitors, keywords, and users, are firm. All right, I believe we're almost at the time where we can start asking some questions. But before we do that, I would love to get some more feedback about your thoughts on the webinar. It matters to us at Follow what our clients, if we're meeting their needs, and if there's more we can cover to support your success. I'm going to publish this poll, and then we can move to Q&A. Okay. Nadia, we cannot select a group of countries to follow the rating. I do not believe so, but that's a great question. I'm going to ask our product team to see what they would suggest for that workaround. So, but my app store shows Netflix at 4.4. Is this due to localization rating? It could be. There could be different factors. It could be that I was looking at a specific country. So I believe when I showed you that Netflix rating, it was just at the US. So if you're looking at the worldwide view, which is in the App Store, and also the rating above, which I'll show you, just dashboard. So this is for the United States. So it could be localization. Out of curiosity, where are you based? You would like to know more about the charts analytic US. Okay. Portland, right. That's a good question. I'll follow up with our support and product team to see what could be going on there. My guess is it's based on the state range. Oh, my apologies. So this is the average new rating. This is average rating with reviews. So those are different metrics, if that makes sense. So average new rating during this time period, average review rating. So what you're looking at, Noah, is likely ratings that also don't include reviews, if that makes sense. And because I can further clarify that if there's any confusion. I understand when you first hear these data and metrics, it's like, it can be kind of confusing. So I'm happy to further explain. Now, anyone would like to learn more charts and analytics section. That would be a great follow-up in learning not only understanding data, but how to export it as well. Okay. No, I'll find an answer. I'll follow up when we send out the follow-up email, as well as recording. Great. And before we wrap up, are there any other final questions that I could help answer today? Otherwise, we can put some more time in the calendar. Following this event, we will send out the Q&A, what was asked today, along with completed, more thorough answers, as well as this recording. And we will also share upcoming webinars that we have in the near future. So in December, we have a Google Play data webinar hosted by our CSM, Donna, and Ilya from our product team. And we will have another onboarding session in December as well. Thank you, Esteban, for sharing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. I really appreciate you taking the time to connect with us, and I look forward to seeing you in upcoming sessions. And yeah, be sure to check out the AppFollow Academy sessions as well. Thank you. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. And for those who celebrate Thanksgiving, have a great holiday. Take care.